Hi, this is Jason Nelson. I'm the creator of Another Emotion, which is a digital poem of sorts. This is actually one of my earliest works. Indeed, if you go back to my main website, which surprisingly looks very similar in terms of the interface, you can see that we go all the way back. It's actually one of the very first ones I did under the first created gizmos portion. The really good thing about that is that, a lot of people have suggested that things like digital poetry don't have much longevity. But I think that certainly works like this, clearly, you're expressing interest, so I think they do last. Um, so anyway, I think it's very pretty. You begin when you see the work by seeing what is very much a filmic, I think, type atmosphere. So I've got lines like these lines here that go up and down. Those are basically almost like film lines. I think that give the work a little bit of texture. And then you have the main interface. The main interface on the rollover, by the way, each time I roll over these buttons, you get a different note. Um, So you can see those notes can interact then with the actual background music. Now, the poem itself is very simple, and the way you read it is very simple. But there are small things hidden inside of it. So, for example, it reads, "I am hiding behind the pattern." And then there's a pattern that covers the screen. This pattern emerges from other patterns, which then emerge still from more patterns. And then again, and again, I quite like this actually. I like this visual. I think it's a nice intersection of parallel and vertical lines, of the horizontal and the vertical. It's quite interesting. Nothing here. There actually originally was something in here, but I was having a coding problem, so I didn't include anything into the middle one. Textures. There actually is a message hidden inside of this. Um, so if you were able to figure that out, good for you. But there is a message hidden inside of there. Again, very reminiscent of the visuals here, which I quite like. Mathematics is a myth. Colors and textures and styles are only stories. There are no ones or blues or fives. There are no ones or greens or fives or blues. There are only patterns. My phone is ringing. I won't get it. I'll talk to you. Patterns that hide us from the patterns that hide others. Only patterns in what appears to be a rock and looks like an ocean. And this is actually, part of that is actually a ship. It doesn't look like that anymore because I've gone through and I've reformed it so many times. But it's actually intentionally a picture of an old ship. In fact, it's even what they used to call these sort of 3D photographs they used to take where you have a special viewer. And that's where that actually comes from. So again, a very simple poem, but I think the interface works quite well. A couple concerns I had initially was I was thinking about making it so only the center section would show up. Because currently, you can actually read multiple stanzas using a full screen mode. And additionally, this work I thought was going to be much longer, but I've decided to keep it at this relatively small length. There's also, there used to be hidden in the work a little button. There is. On one of these levels, I don't know where because I've forgotten, but there's a button hidden on here with a thank you to my sister. And so if you find it, you'll see that. But it's hidden tied to the middle section, so I'm not sure where that is. More extensively, this is my work here, and again, same sort of interface. I like interfaces that go against the normal flat essence of a screen. You know, most web pages have a very confined look to them. And I like work that sort of either expresses itself vertically, horizontally, or even in terms of depth. And I'm doing a little bit of that here where I have these lines go behind and in front. You'll see scratches. So I am trying to create a sense of depth there. And so my work has changed over the years, but still this work I think holds up quite well. This was a related work to them. This is called Unrelated Sequence Comes. And again, very similar, I think, to this one, both in terms of the visuals, very simple visuals, but even in terms of the interactivity. It's a simple 9 stanza poem. This is a simple 7 stanza poem, and the interaction is just simply that. So I see both of these as a kind of brothers and sisters. They always tend to work well, I think, together. And then now my work has progressed to do really bizarre and sort of more interactive things. So you take that cube, for example, and the older cousin of the cube would be this, which is an interactive, highly interactive, reconfigurable, multi-dimensional poem where each of the levels are turnable. So again, you can compare that to the previous cube, and you can see the dramatic shift and change and how these things are actually functionable. So I think that's quite nice. And additionally, I've gone into doing things like this, which is creating basically depth interfaces. Again, sort of similar to this, but in this one, you're truly trying to create a sense of depth. So the poem bits are hidden inside of each of these levels. So instead of scrolling back and forth, this is scrolling in and out. And there are 8, 9 different levels. This is called Between Treacherous Objects. So Between Treacherous Objects, poorest version. I think there is another version, but I'm not sure where it is. Anyway, again, it's a great honor to have my work included, and I hope I've put a little bit of insight into my thoughts in terms of writing the poem, but more importantly in terms of the visuals and the interactivity of the poem. I think the words themselves kind of have to stand up for what they say, It's like the best way of describing a poem is to read the poem back to someone. And if they ask again, we'll read it again to them. Anyway, my name's Jason Nelson, and thanks for your time. Please do explore the rest of my work at secrettechnology.com, and I would love to hear from you. All right, bye-bye.